Today in the battle arena, well, we've got two of the most powerful villains in comic book movies going head to head. Doomsday versus Hela. So who's coming on top here? Well, let's find out. Doomsday was a mutated human Kryptonian hybrid created by Lex Luthor from the corpse of General Zod in his own blood, created for the sole purpose of killing Superman. Capable of apocalyptic levels of destruction, Doomsday's might necessitated the forces of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in order to take him down. He was ultimately killed by Superman at the end of their fierce brawl, who lost his own life in the process. Doomsday has a tremendous level of superhuman strength that's virtually incalculable. It's even somewhat superior to Superman. He was able to generate large shockwaves with his attacks, hold his own against the combined might of both Superman and Wonder Woman simultaneously, and was actually able to harm Clark without even using kryptonite. Doomsday is also virtually invulnerable, being able to take attacks on both Superman and Wonder Woman, and even quickly recovered from the full force of a megaton nuke that could be seen from Earth to space. Due to the adaptive evolution, the megaton nuclear blast, fall, and mighty blows from Superman and Wonder Woman actually only made Doomsday stronger and more durable than before. He also has an extremely effective healing factor. He's able to heal from wounds and regrow limbs just a few seconds, and all of this makes him incredibly hard to defeat. In fact, the only known weapons actually capable of injuring Doomsday are the Sword of Athena, due to the sword's magical nature, and weapons containing kryptonite. Doomsday also has the ability to absorb different kinds of energy, allowing him to mutate and increase in power, with him notably growing bony protrusions and growing in size. He's also capable of unleashing electric shockwaves that were powerful enough to decimate several city blocks. Then finally, Doomsday can unleash the Heat Blast. When Superman tried matching Doomsday's blast with his own heat vision, the monster's much thicker beam was able to overpower Superman's in seconds, promptly sending Clark flying backwards. So that's who we've got in one corner. One of Superman's most dangerous villains, Doomsday. But entering the ring in the other corner, well, it's one of Thor's most dangerous villains, Hela. Hela is the firstborn daughter of Odin, the goddess of death and sister to both Loki and Thor. When she and Odin had finished conquering the 9 realms, Odin imprisoned Hela due to her increasing bloodlust. However, after Odin's death, she was freed from her imprisonment and came back with a plan to conquer and rule Asgard and create a new Asgardian empire. As the eldest child of Odin, Hela has tremendous superhuman abilities and is far superior to almost all other Asgardians, even more powerful than Thor after he had acquired his full powers. She also has a supernatural connection to the realm of Asgard, and can draw power from Asgard itself in order to perform incredible feats of power. She's strong enough to easily catch Mjolnir with just one hand while it was coming at her at full speed, prevent it from returning to Thor, and even proceeded to crush the hammer in the palm of her hand with no real effort. In fact, Hela consistently showed that she's able to overpower her younger brother Thor, easily injuring him and even restraining him with just one hand. Hela is also ridiculously durable, as she was impaled through the chest by a sword, impaled by Thor with Gungnir, and hit with one of the largest lightning bolts that Thor had ever created, and brushed it all off with ease. In fact, the only beings capable of putting Hela down for good are beings on Odin and Surtur's level. Hela can also easily manifest weapons and blades of all sorts, summoning them at will, and these blades aren't just powerful enough to easily wipe out regular Asgardians, but even injure and nearly kill Thor. She was even able to conjure up blades the size of buildings to fight against Surtur. Hela is also an immensely formidable and deadly warrior in both armed and hand-to-hand combat, as she was the original owner of Mjolnir, leader of the Asgardian army, as well as Odin's executioner. In fact, she's so skilled, she's able to battle against Thor and Valkyrie at the same time, easily wipe out the Asgardian army, and single-handedly slaughter the Valkyries. In short, Hela is so powerful that Heimdall was even convinced that she was fully capable of taking over and conquering the entire cosmos. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Nowadays we'll get two of the most powerful villains in comic book movies going head to head. One of the biggest threats from the DCEU going up against one of the biggest threats from the MCU. Doomsday versus Hela. So who's coming on top here? Well, let's find out. And first things first, physicality. So how physically powerful is Hela? Well, for starters, she's easily one of the strongest Marvel characters that we've ever seen. And a lot of that is really based upon her scaling off of the mighty Thor. Before she even made it back to Asgard and tapped into her true power, she was able to stop Mjolnir in the palm of her hand, meaning that she effortlessly overpowered Thor's throw. Whereas when Hulk tried to do the same thing, he was thrown backwards. On top of that, Hela even shattered Mjolnir with just one hand with almost no effort. Up until that point, that was supposed to have been impossible. Hela's also proved that she's consistently able to overpower Thor throughout their fights. Most of the time, even being able to easily match him with just one hand while he was struggling to contend with two. But what about Doomsday? Well, Doomsday is easily one of the strongest beings in the entire DCEU, exhibiting incredible strength and durability, along with impressive speed throughout his entire fight. Superman needed two hands just to catch one of Doomsday's punches. Doomsday was consistently able to toss and throw around Clark, absolutely just send him flying, and actually ended up killing Superman at the end of the fight, despite the fact that Doomsday was fatally wounded right beforehand. Then, as if all that wasn't impressive enough, he also battled against Wonder Woman, managed to do the exact same thing. Just easily overpower Diana and send her absolutely flying with his attacks. So all in all, Doomsday looks like he's stronger here. But what about durability? Well, Hela has shrugged off consistent attacks from Thor like they were nothing. And even just the fact that she stopped Mjolnir in her hand is a crazy durability feat. I mean, Thor has consistently been able to injure powerful opponents with Mjolnir. Yet Hela was able to take that attack in her hand, not even flinch. And it's not just blunt force. Hela's also got a remarkable ability to stand up to piercing attacks. She managed to stop Thor and Valkyrie's sword strikes just by blocking them with her arm. But it's really Hela's ability to take attacks and not go down that makes me so supremely impressed with her. She was stabbed to the stomach by an Asgardian soldier, wasn't phased, and immediately recovered. She was stabbed to the stomach by Thor with Odin's spear Gungnir, wasn't phased, and instantly recovered. And it's not just sword strikes that she's able to easily recover from. Hela was even hit with what Thor described as the biggest lightning blast in the history of lightning, and it did nothing to put her down. But on the other hand, well, Doomsday is able to take punches and attacks both Superman and Wonder Woman, quickly recovered and acted like nothing had happened. He survived large explosions, even survived a nuclear bomb, and after Superman stabbed him all the way through with a kryptonite spear, Doomsday was still able to live on and kill Superman before dying himself. Doomsday's also got a healing factor of his own, as when Wonder Woman cut off his hand with her sword, well, Doomsday just regrew that hand. No harm, no foul. And then finally, we need to talk about speed. Now, the MCU as a whole gets so undersold when it comes to speed. While they don't have the absolute fastest characters in the world, their heroes and villains are by no means slow. Just look at Hela. She's shown that she's actually faster than Asgardian bullets, moving her cape to block the bullets before they hit her. She's also routinely outpaced Thor and even caught Mjolnir the palm of her hand, and Thor isn't necessarily slow either. Also, just the way she fights is much more acrobatic, fluid, and mobile in nature, so that's going to help her out a lot here too. But Doomsday isn't necessarily slow. He's caught a blitzing Superman, actually dodged Superman multiple times, that attacks from Wonder Woman, that attacks from Clark and Diana, and punched away a charging Superman. Hela is definitely much more acrobatic and fluid, but Doomsday is pretty fast with his reactions too. Now, what about Doomsday's heat vision and Hela's swords? What about them? Well, speaking of Hela's swords, Hela is able to conjure up swords and the weapons at will. She can throw them with amazing accuracy, and they're powerful enough to casually pierce through Thor and even the city-sized Surtur. She's also just a ridiculously skilled fighter, being able to take down whole of the Valkyrie, Asgard's elite fighting force, defeat the entire Asgardian army by herself, and dominate fights against both Thor and Valkyrie combined. On the other hand, unlike most iterations of the character in the DCEU, Doomsday has heat vision, just like Superman. In fact, even more powerful than Superman's. He's also able to send out these massive 360 energy waves, with these explosions leveling a city block, being able to be seen from outer space and push back both Superman and Wonder Woman. And so here's the question. If Doomsday is stronger, if Hela's faster and more agile, and if both of them are really durable and have a healing factor, well, this fight might actually come down to heat vision versus swords. That might be the slight edge that decides between the winner and the loser. And I really don't think that Doomsday's heat vision is going to beat Hela here. It didn't beat either Superman or Wonder Woman, didn't even keep either of them down for that long, and Hela did take that lightning blast that Thor described as the biggest lightning blast in the history of lightning. Not only did she take it, but she was right back up and winning fights just a few moments later. On the other hand, we've got those swords. And honestly, I don't see a massive difference between Hela's swords and Wonder Woman's sword. They're both gods. Their weapons are both magic, at least somewhat. And if Diana was able to chop off Doomsday's hand, well then Hela should be able to as well. But hold up. You might be saying, but Wonder Woman never actually beat Doomsday. In fact, he healed from that attack. And you're right, he did. So I guess that's when we gotta factor in that Hela can actually control the size of her swords. I mean, she was launching massive swords that were slicing through Surtur like a hot knife through butter. And if she starts launching those at Doomsday, well, I gotta imagine that they're gonna do some more damage than Diana's sword. Possibly enough damage to put Doomsday down for good, like with that kryptonite spear. I mean, he has shown at least some vulnerability to magic in the past. With Hela's durability and her healing factor, well, you gotta look for whatever edge or advantage you can get. And I think those magical swords are enough of an advantage to give the edge and victory here to Hela, the goddess of death. Yeah, Hela's coming out on top here. Hela wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure hit the like button, subscribe button, and turn on notifications, join the DanCo army, and I will see y'all next time.